are today at the home of one of our founding fathers, George Washington. He's the only president to be unanimously elected by the Electoral College at the time, of course, with 69 electoral votes back in 1789. Today, there are 538 electors. They're being bombarded this weekend by people and groups who want to prevent them from voting on Donald Trump.
You and just 36 other conscientious Republican electors can make a difference
by voting your conscience on December 19th.
This video, produced by the group Unite for America, made up of Hollywood liberals and others. If 37 electors changed their vote, they'd prevent President-elect Trump from reaching the 270 votes he needs to take the White House. So here with more to break down all of the very nitty-gritty details, George Washington political science professor Lara Brown. Thank you so much for joining us. This is so interesting, and we could certainly talk to you basically the entire hour about the intricacies of the Electoral College, but of course we want to keep it brief, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that short commercial that we ran. We've seen this uproar of people saying, listen, we need to call in a number of electors to change their vote. But the fact of the matter is that we have seen this before when there has been a candidate who lost but did win the popular vote. But we haven't talked about it since 2000.
Right. So what we really have at this moment is essentially a country that is very divided. It's polarized, and we are at 50-50, and no real election system does a very good job of translating the public will when you are at 50-50. The Electoral College does end up with these, what we call inversions or reversals, but we really haven't seen this except in the other time when our country was this closely divided during the Gilded Age.
Right. So, in fact, in our entire history, there's only been 4 instances where we've seen the candidate who essentially came in second win the popular vote. But when I hear someone like an Al Gore say, there needs to be a change. It needs to be more representative of a population. That's not necessarily something that's easy to do. The Electoral College is very specifically designed because we have branches of government.
It is, and it was in many ways designed as a compromise. So when we think about our system is supposed to check tyrannies of the majority as well as tyrannies of the minority. And what that means is that the framers made sure that our different sort of elective branches of government would, in essence, represent different groups. So the House represents the people directly in equal measure. The Senate does not. It represents the state. People are not equally represented in the U.S. Senate. And the Electoral College is really the coming together of those 2 branches. The framers thought about direct election from the people, but they thought it would be impractical, and they were worried about sort of the problems of popularity with that. They also worried about an election by Congress, because that would mean then that the president would owe their office to the Congress. So they wanted a compromise, and the compromise that they came up with was that the people would be represented through their states. So in essence, you are democratically represented in the Electoral College, but it is represented through your state. And this is what makes, in some ways, the Electoral College a little bit more like the World Series than the Super Bowl.
I like that. I like that analogy, actually. People think that November 8th came and it went and now it's over, but really the majority of the work's going to be done on Monday. What does that process look like? And also, can people still participate? Some people are wondering, can they watch this very traditional process still take place?
Yes, in the vast majority of states, this is a public viewing opportunity. It is often the case that the governors and the Secretary of States arrange for the electors to meet in the state capitol. It's typically done sometime between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. local time. It's often at noon. And what really happens is the electors show up. They show up to a room in the state capitol, and they produce 2 documents that get sent to Washington. One of those documents basically says, yes, the governor certifies the popular election results and that the electors who are voting are qualified individuals. And then the electors themselves actually sign a ballot which says this is who we pledge our electoral votes to.
Okay, so for example, in the state of Virginia, you can log on to the state website and you're able to witness the actual process take place.
Absolutely, and it is a ticketed event, so it is open to the public. You just have to get tickets. My guess is you'd be sort of able to get them through your state legislature.
Right. Well, thank you so much for explaining that to us. Of course, we'll see as Monday takes place. It's a very interesting process, and
It
thank
is.
you for explaining it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.